Welcome to the special transmission of the world today. I'm Waqas Majeed Khan. Another milestone has been reached. 329 MNAs have taken oath as the 15th National Assembly of Pakistan. The first session of the 15th National Assembly just ended, and 329 members of the lower house of the parliament have taken their oath. The outgoing speaker, Ayaz Sadiq, administered the oath to the MNAs, and it is the second time that a democratically elected government has transferred power to the next government. That is what we're going to be talking about for the next 2 hours. Let me introduce my guests in the studio for the discussion. First of all, we have Masroor Gillani Saab with us, and he's joined by Zahid Ghishkori, and along with that, Javeed Rana. Thank you very much for being here. So finally, a milestone has been achieved, and now we are ready, and we are hoping that all the expectations that the people of Pakistan have with the new government, the government will be able to, meet those expectations. So what are your expectations? What do you see as the challenges that the new government is going to be confronted with right at the outset?
Yes, the foremost and the biggest challenge to the new government is economy.
Of course.
Yes, because there's there's a current account balance problem, balance of payments, which you can say. We don't have forex reserves, which are shrinking day by day. So if we are not able to get a bailout or a loan from any friendly country or from the IMF, so we'll be not able to repay our loans. So default looms on our heads, and then our imports will be affected because we need foreign exchange to keep this the major import.
Well, that's a major
yes.
major challenge that you're talking about. But before we get to the major challenges, let's talk about the minor challenges that the PTI government itself was going to be facing in terms of creating the cabinet and the government. Zahid, in your opinion, what are the issues that PTI will be facing right at the outset when it's trying to form the government? For example, the number game. Do you think they'll be able to achieve the required numbers and they'll be able to form the government as is their want?
Thank you, Waqas. Yes, I think they would easily get the required numbers. But let me tell you first, most important thing, start with Naya Pakistan. After 1985, this National Assembly, the 9th National Assembly, is going to be the first National Assembly, lower house of the parliament, where 41% legislatures, member parliament would be the newcomers. And now they have become 139 member National Assembly elected for the first time, and also on the reserve seats. It means that 57%, 192 previously elected are on reserve seats, member National Assembly are no longer the part of this parliament. So there is something new, change. 47 all the way came from Punjab, 25 all new faces from Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, 12 out of 6 from Balochistan, and then around 27 from Sindh, and 61 member National Assembly representing Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. So this is very new ideas, new visions, and Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, by the way, has been the only political party whose a few leaders like Asad Umar, like many other, Shireen Mazari, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, who have been giving manifestos, challenges, tasks, and working on their expertise, on their powers, what exactly they are enjoying authority on their own topic. Like Asad Umar on economy and many others, a lot of challenges, a lot of dreams, promises by PTI. Now this is the time. Officially today started that 100 days plan by PTI. No doubt that's a Herculean task ahead for the new government, but at least we are very hopeful. I think one should be very optimistic about Pakistan. This is the third transition, no doubt. Many people, foreign media, experts have been expressing their concern on the process of election 2018. We have been building argument on the alleged rigging, many other things, but I think this is the right time to move on. And at least opposition political parties, strong opposition, for the first time after 2002, that we be seeing. I don't know, either they would be stand united, keep pushing the government to deliver, or to face the dharna, the protest, or at least their wrath. So I'm pretty hopeful. When it comes to number, finally, before you go to Javeed Saab, that I don't see any hurdle in KPK. No doubt it's a majority, single majority political party. And in Punjab, I, as a journalist, pretty sure that their chief minister would be easily getting votes. But yes, something could happen very interesting when it comes to voting about speaker as a secret ballot in National Assembly and about the deputy speaker as well. My view is that they might not be, I mean, the opposition might not be able to successful because they are not united at the moment.
That seems to be the problem of the opposition. Well, we saw the kind of opposition that the PTI did in the last government, and now they have the opportunity to address all those concerns that they used to raise in Parliament. Do you think that they'll be able to deliver on those concerns, and how do you foresee the challenges that they'll be facing in terms of forming the government, your opinion?
To begin with, political challenges.
And the team that they're going to build, in your opinion, what kind of people, or who are the people that you think would be the best for the finance ministry, for the foreign ministry, and so on?
I think it's a mixed bag, experienced hands and then also the new faces. And I think the bigger challenge obviously is the economy. And they are going to appoint Razak Daud. I think that is intention that they have shown. And Asad Umar is there. And Asad Umar, by the way, is not a bad choice. He understands the economy, though he doesn't have the kind of experience to run a country. But nonetheless, one hopes that he would be able to manage it, because it is not just Asad Umar, but the bureaucracy is already there. We have a kind of the backing, whereby I think he would be able to, I hope so, to deliver. But again, right now the challenges are huge. You cannot go to the IMF for obvious reasons that Americans are going to oppose it. And then there is a glimmer of hope from Jeddah-based Islamic Bank, and they are offering $4 billion.
And so are the Chinese, by the way.
And so the Chinese, and I think they are going to raise bonds in the international market, and whereby they are going to fetch some money. These are all temporary problems.
But before we come to the real major challenges such as the economy, I want to talk about the nitty-gritty that they're going to be facing right in the beginning of their 100-day honeymoon period. First of all, like Zahid was mentioning, the appointment of the speaker and the deputy speaker. What do you foresee in that?
It's going to be smooth sailing. I don't expect any problematic area in KPK, in National Assembly, in Punjab, and even in Balochistan. I think they are going to form a coalition government. This is not going to be a problematic area for the PTI. For the election of the Prime Minister, it would not be a problematic area. I think, again, at the end of the day, the challenges are going to be economy and political. Let's talk about the politics, because that is what has been dominating on the political landscape, and that is the charges of rigging. Both PML and the PTI, they are in a very paradoxical position. If you change
the roles have been reversed.
Exactly. If you reverse the reel, and you will see the faces are different, the arguments are the same, precisely same. So it doesn't mean the rigging did not take place. We can discuss the scale of the rigging, but certainly there.
I think we should go beyond that, because
beyond that. But again, the bigger question.
The elections have happened. The parliament is now taken oath. So I think we should move past the election.
I'm going to that
and talk about the future.
Again, the issue is that unlike PTI, this opposition may have far more number than the PTI previously had. But this opposition, combined opposition, doesn't have the will to take on the PTI on rigging charges. It is a fragmented opposition. It is a very much compromised opposition. For the sake of the argument, if there is a rigging as per People's Party, then GDA has been blaming People's Party that 25 of its candidates, they won because of rigging. So,
but that's
the point I'm trying to make.
It's the same old
old story. Therefore, People's Party certainly is not going to side with the PMLN.
Well, that remains to be seen. We'll come to that, Javed sir, but I want to talk about the other aspects of the PTI now taking front stage and center and going to be forming the government. Already, Masroor Saab, they have the government in KPK, and now that FATA has now become a part of KPK, that in itself is going to throw up a number of challenges of how to integrate FATA with KPK, number one. Number two, they are also likely to make the government in Punjab, and then they have the government at center, they have a friendly government in Balochistan. So that there also lies an opportunity for the PTI to strengthen the federation even more. Do you think that they will be able to play a role in strengthening the federation? Because we always see that the provinces have some issues with the center, and that has also been a reason for discord in the past. Do you think the PTI government will be able to overcome this hurdle?
Yes, we can hope, given their numbers or their presence or their vote bank now in KP and also in Punjab, which is it's a new factor. Punjab, they did not have much before, but now they have a very sizable presence, and they are going to form government there. And the Punjab is the center of politics, or it's the largest populated province of Pakistan, and where the performance will matter. That now the thing is, what we are watching now, what kind of team Mr. Khan will form in center, and how his the provincial governments, what kind of faces are there, what is their expertise. And as far as as my colleagues have mentioned, that as far as the number is concerned, government formation, they don't see any hindrance or problem in that. But the real challenge is that is to put up a very dynamic team, young people basically with energy.
Are we going to see that happen? Because we haven't seen many young faces that the PTI has thrown up as yet. We've seen the same old faces
yes,
as of now.
Actually, what
in terms of Mr. Sheikh Rashid and Shah Mahmood Qureshi, and so they're all old faces.
No,
there are also a number of youngsters.
There are also a number
we
of
don't know
youngsters.
their roles as yet.
Yes, we don't know their roles, but these people are also very important. The senior people need to be there.
Absolutely.
To guide the younger, and then for energy you need the young people in the cabinet, in the provincial cabinets or in the center.
Of course.
And this is the time. The field is open for PTI now, and the things they wanted to do, and they have been telling us during the past 5 years that we will bring change. So it's a good thing people of Pakistan want to change, a positive change. Every Pakistani wants the country to progress, to move forward, to develop. So there's no Pakistani which says no, we don't want change, no, we don't want progress, no, we don't want better living conditions, we don't want better schools, we don't want better hospitals. So this is what these are the areas like PTI has been championing the cause of health and education in KP as well, and they are very proud of that.
Yeah.
So now they have the entire country in front of them, and let's see what they do in the basic problems of common people are health and education, then the water, environment, and all these things are linked to economy. And then another major challenge will be this electricity.
What about security? What about the National Action Plan? And aren't those serious challenges that they'll be confronted with?
Yes, those are challenges.
Yeah, so we'll come to them. Zahid, in your opinion, what kind of difficulties do you foresee in terms of the PTI passing legislation when it comes to making laws, and especially when we talk about reforms, and the reforms that Masroor Saab was mentioning in KPK in terms of health and education? How do you see them tackling these issues going forward?
This could be a very vital point for Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. You know that opposition and the PTI are already struggling with the number game in National Assembly. So to get past strong legislation which need 2/3 majority in the parliament, some amendment in the constitution, some sort of things Pakistan really need. I don't see that at least for first 2 years to maybe 2.5 years, like similar recap situation as Pakistan Muslim League Nawaz was facing, and maybe PTI may be facing more worse. And then in upper house of the parliament, PTI of course would be a single majority party in 2021. But before this, it would be very difficult because it's sort of divided political parties, number game like MQM, like many other supporting party to PTI. But the most important thing, the legislation is not this time, right now. We can do many more important things, can wipe off the challenges by doing or keeping on the policy the previous government was adopting, like Punjab is the real battleground because PTI is neck to neck over there in Punjab, and the most important factor hurting the most to the party is no such bigger experience, not only expected in the cabinet of PTI in Lahore, and we don't know still that who be heading as chief minister to the province. This is very vital post to run the country, and I might be a lucky person as voter that if Shah Mahmud Qureshi won MP election and then part of Punjab as a chief minister, because he is a seasoned politician. He can run the province. You know, province needs something very new because it has been in Sharif role during the 1.5 decade, and then 17 district considerably have been deployed off, like South Punjab, and even in the reserve seat, we don't see that the participation, the political party have chosen from South Punjab or interior Sindh. Even PTI chose 70 plus, I mean the ratio, the percentage from Lahore and reserve seat to represent women and minority. But this is maybe a tiny issue, but to run the province is a most bigger challenge for PTI. And then in center, you know that Imran Khan have been declaring many, giving many promises when it comes to national or international security issues to deal with America in the region, and then his viewpoint to negotiate and start talks with Taliban once upon a time. But new challenge for the party, of course, national security, no doubt, and our new relationship with Iran and Afghanistan as well, and when it comes to talks with India. So Imran Khan, I, by the way, in person have very much trust that he himself, as also a leader as well, of course, a leader of the House as well now, and running the country. So now we don't know that how he would be convincing his team to run the country, because tall claim to bring $200+ billion back to the country, looted money and many other issues. So that's why we are expecting, people are expecting and have many things, maybe overambitious, and maybe after 2.5 years.
So do you think that the high expectations that people have now made from the PTI government, and especially the leader of the PTI, will be another major challenge that he will have to confront, because it is easier to say something and much harder to deliver on? You know, walking the talk is much harder.
Very much
Let's get Javeed Saab's opinion on this. Javeed Saab, do you think that they'll be able to walk the talk when it comes to you know, meeting all those grand promises that they made to the people? Or do you think that that there is a difference between what you say during the campaign and then what you do behind the desk are two separate things?
I think if you are expecting there is going to be 100% delivery, that's not going to happen. They would be able to achieve some economic targets.
Let's talk about the reforms. Let's talk about the basic reforms which really matter to the people of the country, and that is dealing with the civil bureaucracy, dealing with the police, for example. In Punjab, it's one of the most notoriously badly managed police departments. So do you think that we'll be
notoriously
able to,
corrupt? That
we'll
is
be looking
more
at...
I think the PTI, as they have been saying, that they are going to replicate police reforms of KPK onto Punjab.
Or for the entire, that matter, the entire country.
And for the entire country,
but
I
specifically
think
Punjab.
Specifically Punjab, because they are going to govern there. Now, people I don't want to make any, racial profiling, but generally the perception is that the people in KPK, they are thoroughly gentlemen. I mean, they behave well generally, and the police is from those
So you're saying
population.
that the reforms that took place in KPK really are not much because they were already pretty good?
What I'm saying is
what you're
that the fact that the general attitude of the people over there is a different as compared to the people in Punjab, that also played a factor, but that is not all about it. Now, it depends who is going to be the Inspector General in Punjab. Their choice is going to matter. And we are expecting, going by the previous track record, that he is going to be given full authority to hire and fire, and get rid of those corrupt elements within the Punjab government.
So we're talking about the depoliticization of state institutions overall.
I think this is where I think there is a possibility that the PTI would be able to do something on police. That is the most important component of this provincial state structure. Now, police unfortunately always had political patronage from different factions of the Muslim League, mostly from Sharif family. They have destroyed the police, and all the people who were appointed over the period of time, they had the backing of the Sharif family. Now, bringing an Inspector General with full authority and asking him not to listen any MPA, any MNA, and just deliver. Because people want justice. When they go to the police station in Punjab, they are treated inhumanly. You see, that is the first door of administrating justice. And at the first door, you are blocked. If there is a murder, then the FIR is registered in a manner that support the murderer. So I think there is perhaps shortage of genuine, honest people. Or if they are there, they are not very much visible. And the biggest task for the PTI Punjab government would be to hunt down honest officials. Because if you are competent but not honest,
You mean not hunt down but find?
I am using the word of hunt down.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh. We don't want to hunt them down. We need to find them.
Because let's find them out.
Yes.
The reason I am using this word because there's a shortage.
That's
perhaps.
true. Absolutely.
That is a problematic area.
Absolutely.
Headhunting is a positive term.
Yes, of course.
Let's use the headhunting. But again, that is a great challenge.
It is.
And then they are talking about the human development, improving the service structure, delivery system in the hospitals, in the education. In KPK, they brought good reforms in the education. And that started with the improving the education system with in terms of recruitment, and making it sure that the teachers attend the schools. And by the way, Punjab government also brought a lot of good reforms in Punjab. Let's give them also credit. They were not as bad as the PTI have been portraying them. So PTI would not have much difficulty in bringing education reforms in Punjab because the previous government also did well. It may not be up to the mark, but certainly they delivered. Police is the biggest challenge, far more biggest challenge. On a broader picture, if you have question on the security, and I think that is the most important because it depends in what manner PTI is going to navigate its option on Afghanistan, on the Middle East. We have heard Imran Khan time and again that he wants a negotiated settlement of Afghanistan. And I think that has been a consistent policy of government of Pakistan.
Okay, before we come to the foreign aspect, Rana Saab, I want to ask you about the question that I asked Masroor Saab and Zahid Saab about the integration of the provinces with the center. Since do you think that PTI being in control in almost 3 provinces will be able to align the interests of all the provinces together with the center and be able to formulate policies that are not objected to by the provinces as we've seen in the past?
Objection would come from Sindh.
For example, in the NFC award, for example,
exactly.
in the distribution of water and many other such things.
From Balochistan. That is our expectation. Punjab has always been on the receiving side. We don't expect, and then they have their own government. So I think the bigger problem in Balochistan would be And that is also because of the fact that the PTI has already inked an agreement, a formal agreement with BNP.
BNP?
Yes, Balochistan National
Party, Mangal.
Mangal Party, the Mangal group.
Okay.
That they are going to make it sure that all the missing persons would be released. That is something easier said than done, because many of them were involved in the separatist insurgency, and the security forces have their own concerns. How far Imran Khan would be able to deliver?
What about the incumbency factor that they'll be facing in Parliament when it trying to pass legislation and so forth?
I think obviously it is very obvious in Senate it is going to be a problematic area, and PTI is a minority party over there. They need support of PML, and they need support of the People's Party, and they need the support of the JGI. And JGI is, is the most offensive posturing kind of that we have seen, perhaps more than PMLN. That is going to be problematic area. They would not be able to bring kind of the legislation they want by 2021. By then, I think the situation would be changed in the upper house of the parliament. But again, I believe that there is going to be some legislation which would be acceptable to everybody. On economic reforms,
so how soon do you expect the changes that we are all expecting to start kicking in, and actually people can see that there has been a change? How long do you think?
I think
how much time do you
initial time we will see just symbolic changes. Maybe there is a likelihood that there would be less protocol for the Prime Minister, less protocol for the ministers. And I think symbolically it would trickle down to the common people. A message would be given them that the government is their servant, not their ruler. And that is a very, very important message. It's not the Prime Minister house, the palace the previous Prime Ministers had there. It is the symbolic message that goes down. Because when you are there at a place which actually misrepresent the overall Pakistan, it doesn't represent Pakistan. You are there and you represent as if you are you represent a country,
or a king,
or a king.
Right.
I think symbolically that is important. And then very importantly, we need to see on whether this government is going to knock the door of IMF. Or
yes, we'll come to that. We'll come to that now.
I
want to bring this question to Masroor Saab. Has been really wanting to talk about the economic challenges. So let's give him a chance. Masroor Saab, you want to talk about the economic challenges that the PTI
before
government
these
will be
economic
facing?
challenges, there's a one now you talked about integration of federation, and for this there are certain mechanisms in our constitution, and there is a Council of Common Interest. So if PTI utilizes this and reactivates, and it has it meets frequently as it is required by the constitution. So where all these dispute which the provinces have or the grievances they have, they can settle down, they can sit down together, and now then there will be no talk of somebody is saying that our water share has been stolen and we are not getting this, we are not getting that, we got less resources. So there's a forum provided in the form of Council of Common Interest. I hope PTI government they will make best use of it.
One of the many objections that were made to the previous government and to the previous Prime Minister was also that he did not attend many of the sessions of Parliament. Are you expecting the PTI to follow suit, or do you think that there will be some change in there that we'll get to see as well?
Yes, after seeing the statements by Mr. Imran Khan that he will himself be present during question hours of the Parliament. And he
also said that he'll give us 1 hour a week to the general public for question and answering. Do you think that's feasible, Zahid?
On the floor of the House.
Okay, it'll be on the floor of the
Prime
House.
Minister's question hour.
Yeah,
but isn't that when the opposition is the one that asks the questions, or is it anybody from the galleries can get up and ask the question?
No, it's going to be the
only for the parliamentarian
MPs, and I think apart from political questions, he would be able to handle any other question. He will handle also political question, but again, those would be very tough.
Okay.
Yeah, in the past, there is, I think the previous Prime Minister, he has used this telephone line that he have been listening to people's calls, but that I think lasted not very long. And he just used to take actions after people called him, and it was televised live. And it's a good step that what Mr. Khan will be doing, that is, will be available exclusively, and we'll have to see that how much attendance he has, because he has been criticizing that this parliament, the previous parliament was not up to mark. It was, I don't want to use those words now because, but he was not happy with the parliament, people sitting there, so he did not go there. I think 5% of the attendance he had as leader of, as an opposition party leader. But now he's a prime minister. Now he has to prove that this parliament is worth going, and it is how important it is for the country and the Federation of Pakistan, and for the legislation for people, because these are the things that he have been criticizing. Now the burden is on him.
Right.
Yes, and he has to prove now that I'm better than the previous prime ministers. He has to show that to people.
So there are a lot of expectations riding on his shoulders.
And
people are expecting a lot from him.
Yeah. And as far as this economic challenge, then there's another major factor is this public sector, loss-making entities. They are bleeding us. So there are two options. Either you make them, workable, make them profitable, and make them sustainable. If you can't do it, you have to privatize it. And all over the world now, the governments they are doing away with the business of running a business, because governments say it's not our government's job to run a factory or business, or an airline.
Yeah, but that is again a huge debate.
It's a huge challenge again.
It's a huge debate as well, because many people disagree with this